Hey HMS, it's your sports reporter Beckley in the studio today with a special guest. If you are a Ravens fan, then you know the man sitting next to me as number 77. Meet Matt Birk, a center for the Baltimore Ravens. We are sitting down with him today to ask him a few questions. How are you today, Matt?
I'm great, Beckley. Thank you for asking.
I have some questions.
Okay.
What's the best part of being a Baltimore Raven?
Oh, I think the best part is just being able to play football for a living, and there's nothing better than playing in M&T Bank Stadium and running out and having 70,000 people cheer and scream and yell and go crazy. And it's a lot of people can probably imagine how much fun that is. It's just as much fun as you can imagine.
How many years have you played in the NFL?
This will be my 13th year coming up.
Why did you choose to be a center?
Actually, I didn't really choose to be a center. When I was in college, I played tackle. And then when I got to the NFL, I wasn't very good at tackle. So they said, well, if you're going to stick around, we're going to try to make you a center. That's really your only shot. So I gave it a shot, and it worked out.
How did you get into Harvard?
How did I get into Harvard?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of hard work. I was lucky growing up. My parents always stressed school to me. Like I couldn't go outside and play with my friends until I finished my homework. So I worked really hard and got good grades in school, and that's how I ended up there.
Have you ever held a Super Bowl trophy before?
Not yet, but I'm planning on holding one this year in February.
Woo! What do you do to help your community?
I just try to be involved in my community. I really like young people. I like people like yourself, and so I just try to get out there, go to schools, go to playgrounds, things like that, and just encourage kids, tell them to work hard, and let them know that if they do work hard, that they can accomplish anything they want to. If they have a dream and they're willing to work for it, it'll come true.
What are some of your favorite musical groups?
Favorite musical groups? Well, I like country music, so I like pretty much all the country. Kenny Chesney, Sugarland, groups like that. I'm certainly a country boy.
What are some things you had to overcome in life?
Well, I wouldn't say I've had any major obstacles, but it's just certain things come up, and I've learned that you just have to work through them. Just because, like I went to Harvard or that I play in the NFL, that doesn't mean that those things are easy. And in fact, they're quite difficult. And there were certainly times when I felt overwhelmed, and I thought, boy, maybe I'm not smart enough, or maybe I'm not good enough to do this. But I said to myself, if I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail trying as hard as I can. And so I just gave it everything I had, and was able to overcome those things. And here I am today with you.
How do you spend your time in the off season?
In the off season, well, I have 5 children, and a dog, so they take up most of my time in the off season. But it's a lot of fun. Even though we don't just practice during the season, we practice in the off season as well. It's about 11 months a year that we're working, but we certainly do have some more time off in the off season. So I'm fortunate that I get to be a full-time husband and dad in the off season.
What is your training routine?
Train six days a week, Monday through Saturday. Lift a lot of weights. Run a lot, which you probably can't tell by looking at me, but I do run a lot. Eat a lot. It's important. You got to get your nutrition, your protein, and your vitamins, and then also we're practicing, so we're out on the field going through plays, and really just always trying to get better.
What injuries have you had in the NFL?
I had sports hernias. Do you know what those are? That's when your abdominal wall, I've under all this I have an abdominal wall, they tell me, and it actually tears, and it doesn't sound like a big deal, but it can be pretty painful. So I had to have surgery for those. And yeah, last year I had a reoccurring injury. The bridge of my nose would always break open and scab from my helmet didn't fit quite right. So hopefully I've got that problem solved, though. Now that won't happen next year. Certainly didn't do anything for my good looks.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in St. Paul, Minnesota. It's kind of cold up there.
What are some of your other favorite sports teams?
Well, growing up in Minnesota, I love the Minnesota Twins, and I played for the Minnesota Vikings for 11 years. So I certainly have a soft spot for them. But you know, I really do love all sports, and when I was growing up, I played every single sport imaginable except football. And when I was a sophomore in high school, that's when I started playing football. Some of my friends were like, "Oh, you should come out and give it a try." And you know, I didn't want to because I was nervous. I never played before, but I decided to give it a try, and you know, I'm sure glad I did, because obviously I wouldn't be playing for the Ravens today had I not decided to try something new. And that's why I always try to encourage kids to try everything you can, because you never know what you might like.
What are some of your hobbies?
Some of my hobbies, well, in the little free time I have, I love to fish. So if I can be fishing somewhere, that's probably the number one thing I like to do for myself. Do you fish? No. It's not for everybody.
What do you remember about being in middle school?
I remember it's hard. You know, there's a lot of things going on. I remember the schoolwork got a little more challenging for me. I definitely had to. I think early on in school, I was just kind of. It came pretty easy to me, but in middle school, I really had to start studying. You know, taking the books home and doing homework. And like I said before, I was lucky that I had parents that stressed education, but yeah, it definitely takes discipline. You know, sometimes you don't always want to necessarily do homework after a long day at school, just kind of like football too. Sometimes when you're at work practicing football all day and lifting weights, maybe you don't want to run those sprints at the end, but you know you have to do it, because that's what's going to help you accomplish what you want to accomplish and get you to where you want to be.
Do you have any words of advice for kids at HMS?
I think just work hard. Just if you want something badly enough and you're willing to work for it, you can make it happen. You know, I never thought that I'd go to Harvard University, and certainly Harvard is not a hotbed for National Football League prospects. But and when I was coming out of college, people were saying, "Oh, you're not going to make it because you know, you didn't play against really good competition in college, or nothing compared to what it's like in the NFL." But I just kept working hard and didn't listen to those people that were telling me what I couldn't do. I just kept telling myself that I could do it, and that'd be the number one thing I'd tell the students.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Beckley.
I'm sure you can see why he's our star.